The thought of living a life filled with unanswered what ifs, wondering about the roads I didn't take, has always been my deepest fear. A few years ago, I hit a breaking point. My dreams and visions had faded, replaced by the emptiness in what felt like a gray, lifeless world. The passion and drive that once fueled me were gone. I was stuck in dark moments that seemed endless, moments I know many of us have faced. But in that emptiness, I found clarity. Slowly, I surrendered to the truth. I learned to take full responsibility for my actions, owning my mistakes without ego. I accepted that life is both beautiful and cruel, a delicate balance we each must navigate. I committed to change. I began confronting the habits that were holding me back and addressing the flaws I had ignored for too long. I started therapy, learned to slow down, and prioritize time with my friends and family. I set boundaries to protect my energy and well being. I began devouring books, journaling daily, exploring video editing, and pushing my physical limits through workouts, running, and meditation. Each step brought me closer to a life of purpose, a life where my actions aligned with the man I wanted to become. Now I'm continuing this by dedicating myself to this channel and the projects I'll share here. My goal is simple: to inspire, to show that no matter how dark things may seem, there's always a path forward, a path that can make your heart sing. Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to Sentiir. My name is Zeus, and for today's special episode, I invited my best friend Estevan Camarena. Estevan and I are going to be partaking in Hyrox, which is a fitness competition that's around the world. We're going to be participating directly in this competition against two of our best friends, Parker and Alberto. Competition between both groups. We're going to be traveling together to Malaga, Spain. So I invited him to jump on this Sentiir episode to chat about what we've been doing, what the competition looks like. Sentiir is going to be a channel dedicated to my visions, the things that I have going on in my personal life. And really, I wanted it to be a journey for you guys to come on and just see some of the things that I'm working on. But also, I want to be able to help enable visions and passions that you might have. So I will be having special guests on this channel. I'll be talking about cybersecurity, talking about fitness, talking about Lotus Harvest. Just keep in mind, this is a special episode around our Hyrox journey, Estevan and I. I hope you enjoyed this video, and welcome to Sentiir. How did you learn about this? What is it? How can it help anyone else out there that wants to, partake in a Hyrox journey?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think the first thing is to not be overwhelmed by how scary it is. I think we booked the Hyrox event and we were just we don't know what we're doing.
Exactly.
But just like anything, I think you tackle it, little by little, and it's cool when you do it with a friend. So it's nice that Zeus flew back from San Diego to be here in Washington. We're in his little area that his dad built for his 𝐥𝐤𝐬. Hyrox is based upon the idea of Obsolete Sports founder Christian 𝐥𝐤𝐬, combining functional movements and running in an indoor fitness competition. The race in the following rule book obviously will tell us how the game is played, and it's written by Mintra Tilly. So the cool part is Hyrox consists of 1 kilometer runs followed by 1 workout, repeated 8 times. Yes, and the cool thing is that we are competing as doubles. Okay. Against Parker and Alberto.
If you guys don't know, they are other friends that live in Austin.
I think the cool thing about Hyrox that even got us to participate is that it's going to be in Spain. And looking over the rule book, I was do a skier, a sled push, a sled pull, burpee, rowing, farmer's carry, lunges, and wall balls. Like what do the stations look like and what is the weight needed? The first,
it's no joke.
Yeah, the first sled push is 152 kilograms, and that is equivalent to 7.45 plates. So I took 335 divided by 45, and I get a total of 7.4.
Oh my god.
So it's basically equivalent to having 7.45 plates on the sled. And I think the crazy part, guys, is you do a sled push, but then you're gonna do a sled pull. push
Oh
that
my-
freaking sled. Then you're gonna run 1 kilometer. Then you're gonna come back and you're gonna have to pull the sled. Now the sled pulling is only 103 kilograms. Obviously, you got the rowing still, the farmer's carry. I think the lunges are crazy. We did lunges with sandbags and it hurt so bad.
Oh my
and then the wall
God.
balls. I'll end on this one because the wall balls we have to do 100 reps, and it's with the 6 kilogram.
I haven't even
ball.
started those yet.
So exactly. So
Oh my God,
as
okay.
Zeus mentioned, he hasn't been practicing the wall balls. I think the crazy part is that you get so fatigued when you're doing squatting and then throwing the ball up in the air and then catching it.
Yep,
And the fact that we
exactly.
have to do 100 after literally doing lunges, farmer's carries, rowing, burpees, sled pulls, sled pushes, and the skier, and 1 kilometer runs in between.
Most people, when they feel any kind of like distress on the thigh, their legs,
Yep.
whatever, they stop. So you're not even getting into like the build zone essentially. Like once you are exhausted and you go above and beyond that, that's when you start building the most. And honestly, it's gone up a lot of weight on
100%.
on the workouts.
So yeah, where we started, guys, we didn't start here. I'd say we started with maybe just 45s when it came to sled pushes. Then we bumped up to 245s.
I mean, I think at first it was like 25s, if I
Yeah,
remember
you're right,
correctly.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
25s on each side. Now we're doing 4 plates.
So we did 6 plates today and then a 10. So we're getting there.
No, I thought it was 8 plates.
No, we did 6, 3 on each side, and then I added.
Oh,
a little
you're
10,
right,
10 on
you're
each
right,
side.
you're right. Okay, so yeah, so we basically need 2 more to complete the.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're not that far off.
We're not that
Okay.
far, guys. We're moving along. We're surviving. After the burpee broad jumps, you then go into a rowing, and kind of to Zeus's point, self-regulating, breathing in your nose. You might not notice, but Zeus was a captain of a soccer team back in the day in 5 high school.
Yeah, 5 high
So
school.
he
Yeah.
does have that dog in him. So I'm hoping that he really carries through when it comes to rowing and essentially running, because I personally think that's.
Oh,
his
you know what?
strong
This is a
suit.
good segue too. So tell them the doubles work. We have to basically complete each other. We have to figure out what our weaknesses are. Everyone has different strengths.
Yes.
And we have to play off of them. Running is maybe one where he might need a little bit more of my help, and I'll need more help during farmer's carries.
Yes.
So you kind of go into like
I think that's a good point.
You know what that means for the team.
So the cool thing about doubles, or at least men doubles, is that everyone's gonna have strengths that they're good at. So like for example, like I'm probably gonna be pretty strong in my sled pushes because my legs right now are. We
call him the Quadzilla.
I'm size 34 pants right now, and I went from size 30. So that's 4 inches that literally I've gone up in jean size. Like the pants are really loose, but yeah, I mean, look at my thigh. It's like it's tight.
Man, we should have wore shorts. That way you could see the progress.
That's the paid content. For the sequel.
Exactly.
But no, yeah, to the point is that's probably my strong suit. And Zeus, I think, where he's really going to shine is a lot on the running. I think a lot of, honestly, just mindset. Zeus does have a really good mindset thing in sports where, I mean, tell him really quick about your coach. Like, how did you guys train for running?
Oh, man, you're good at this. So yeah, this is an anecdote that I shared with Estevan. But essentially, when I was smaller, I played, not professional soccer. I'm sorry. I wish that was the end goal, but it didn't happen. Sad. A team. This was like U15, U16. Okay. Well, anyways, our coach basically made us run suicide 18s.
What are suicide 18s?
If you don't know, you sprint across the length of the field, or actually half of it, and then you come back. But in this case, it was the full length of the field, and then you would jog back. It doesn't sound intense, but
field's pretty long.
He basically is like, look, guys, you guys are gonna do 10 suicides, and you're done. We already had the goal in mind. We were like, okay, we can freaking do this. And I was in the compromise stage, right? Like the mentality. So we get to the 9th one. He goes, all right, guys, 3 more, and I promise you that is it. 11th one, he's like, all right, guys, I promise you this will be the final one. 3 more and we're done. This goes on for maybe 3 or 4 more times. At the very end of it, he goes, how many suicide 18s do you guys think you guys ran?
What was it? Well, everyone was like, oh, I ran 10.
Yeah, I ran like 10, 15. And he's like, no, you guys ran 25 suicide 18s. What this shows you is everything is in your mind. And, it's just one of those lessons that really took with me to heart, and it's life, right?
It is.
You always think you can't do something until you go out and fucking do it.
And I think it's important to realize that you are typically going to be sometimes in the red zone when you're doing this. Like you're really pushing your lung capacity and your strength essentially. The cool ones is this concept of compromise running that we talked about, right? I didn't know what compromise running was before this, but it's that idea of like getting your mind so exhausted like you can't go. It's completely different for any workouts, like when I'm working out like a bodybuilder or I'm trying to hit heavy weight. But I think the biggest thing that this is teaching me is compromise running really pushes on this idea of right when you feel really fatigued, how much more can you do? And that's really when it starts counting. And I think that's hard to do when you're bodybuilding because you're not really to that point. You have sometimes really heavy deadlifts and you rest 2 minutes. And so, yeah, deadlift, for anybody lifting, I think it's still hard work to do, but I don't think it's anything compared to when you're gassed, you have no fuel in the tank, and then you got to go run some more.
Exactly. And that's the key thing to think about, guys. It's when you don't have anything in the tank, how much more are you pushing yourself?
To really start pushing past your limit.
I think that's the key thing that a lot of people, when they work out, they don't really do, right? They go in there, wait on their phones, setting up cameras.
On Instagram, or filming themselves doing workouts. Think about that, doing the things that are hard, doing the things that you don't want to do. And I think Hyrox really bleeds into that because we're essentially, the workouts are not easy. We did one this morning.
Oh my God, no, it was intense. Like I can honestly tell you, like I died.
1 to 5, what would you say, Zeus?
I would say a 5. Like you mentioned, right, compromise running was something that I like innately knew because I played soccer my whole life, but I actually didn't know like what it actually meant.
Yep.
But it makes sense. Even my brother was like, hey, when you get your heart rate up, it's totally different than just going into chest and doing squats. It's when you're sweating, that's when the real magic happens and pushing past your limits.
Compromise running, it's not a methodology that's very specific to a type of training. It's just like a little thing that you do where it's like you do something before you do something else and then you do it right after. So an example would be, you go run 200 meters before, then you sled push, and then you do another 200-meter run. The question for you is like, what helps you know, and you taught me this today, maybe you remember, but like, what helps you kind of control your breathing a lot that we forget to do, even in life and when working out?
Really slowing things down and being intentional and, just breathing through the fatigue. Because when you don't breathe through the fatigue, you leave your mouth open, the air comes in, bubbles up in your stomach, gasping for air, right? When we go and work out, like we're very cognizant of like just the breathing aspect of it.
And why do you think it's so hard to remember to breathe? Because I think you mentioned today I was running and you did something to me and you're like, hey, remember to self-regulate. I like this word of like self-regulate, whether you're interviewing for a job, whether you're gonna get on a big stage, when you're gonna do something scary. How often do we stop breathing, hold it in?
Exactly.
Where do you learn that?
Russell Wilson, right? He was one of our favorite quarterbacks.
The GOAT.
Yeah, the GOAT. Should have won that second championship for all you Seahawks fans out there. It still hurts me to this day. Learned from him, and he talked about how, like, as an athlete, you never want to be too high or never want to be too low. You always want to be neutral, right? Yeah. Because when you're neutral, you can be objective about the thing you're going to do, complicate a simple task, right? And so it's that middle ground. And for us, they know that we are 1,000% all the time. But I've also learned to balance that out. Let me ask you something, Estevan. Now that we are talking about this, what's your why here? What's your main reason to push yourself through this competition?
Yeah, I think, and great question, because I think once you find your why in anything you do, you really perform better. And it sounds really cheesy, but I think my why is really just sharing hard things with my friends. My why really is like I get to travel with my boys to Malaga, Spain. I get to look over to my right and see Zeus sweating like crazy. I get to look over to my left, see Alberto and Parker going through it. And so I guess my why is like, I just want to live a life that I'm proud of with my friends. What's your why, Zeus? You mentioned, I told you my why. What's your why?
Very similar things, man. I think for a long time, like in my life, I've always been trailblazer, I guess is the best way to think about that. But I also haven't really been balanced in my life. There are things I need to work on. And for me, this is the most consistent I need to be. Like it forces me consistent. It's no joke. Prove to myself that I still have that in me. So you have a big inspiration. Who's that inspiration? Tell the folks out here. Yeah, this is a special episode, so tell them why it's a special episode.
I decided to name him 𝐦𝐤𝐤 because my name's Estevan.
Yeah.
Right, and it's kind of hard to find like an E, so we do have like the name like Aaliyah. We came up with the name 𝐦𝐤𝐤, and 𝐦𝐤𝐤 is cool, at least for us, because it could be Leo when he's growing up.
Exactly.
𝐦𝐤𝐤, it kind of gives a sense that he's still Mexican. And my wife is Thai, so it's also like kind of cool to see that the name is a little ambiguous. It's not just the person's Latino. It could be anything. And the inspiration is that I'm really happy that she's my wife is supportive of me going to doing this with the boys, And instead of making me feel bad that, because he'll be like 2 months old, maybe 3 months, he's going to be born in January.
Just being part of that process is obviously, you know, huge too.
And Zeus's birthday is January 23rd, so there's a bet that maybe he comes out on the same day as Zeus's birthday.
Well, listen, I make fun of him and his wife because he's going to be born on my birthday because Estevan can't get rid of me. Just energy will always be there. I mean, we've been best friends since we were 5, man.
Yeah, well, my dad was mentioning yesterday, which I thought was kind of cool. It stuck with me is that he was like, oh, Jesus still has the same laugh. Toda gente tiene la misma risa. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. Because my dad knew you when you were like 4 or 5.
He basically grew up with me. Yeah. And, you know, honestly, a great mentor. And first time I ever been to the park, to the movies. Like, a lot of firsts, man. Both 32. It's been 27 years of friendship.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is really rare to come across, man. You know, not to toot our horns, but I think we've been successful, man. We've come 100%. From humble beginnings. I mean, we started with $500 in our pocket. We made it in Austin.
We fought over rice.
Overdrafting
an account.
All right, those stories. Yeah, it's just crazy to think about. This is our next challenge together as friends. And obviously we have Berto and Parker that have really unique stories. Everyone's really killing it, man.
Why would anybody want to learn about Hyrox? I do think there's a group of people out there that haven't been introduced to it. Maybe they just want to see what it's about. And it's always nice to just talk about life with my boy.
I definitely agree with all of that. And listen, folks, this is a journey. We're probably going to do other videos at some point around what we're eating, what we're doing to prepare maybe the week before. There's going to be a lot more content coming
special
out.
Guests.
Special guests as well to kind of give us an idea of like where we need to be. And the goal of this channel is to make you feel and really promote other people's passions and visions. And there will be a lot more. And we'll be talking about business at some point. Yeah. Any last words for the folks out here, Estevan?
I mean, like, selfish plug, like, give us a like, give us some comments, like, give us some love. And, put things in the comments that maybe you'd like to listen to, things that you have questions on. Also, if you just want to leave memes, like, whatever. Any little bit helps at this point.
Thank you.